Hello, ladies and gentlemen. There is generally a lot of topics I want to talk about over the next few months when it comes to Dying Like the Beast, but today, I just want to drop a bunch of random info on you. Everything from returning features to some details that I see no one talking about, like the fact that the time on your watch actually changes, matching the day and night as it progresses. From my knowledge, there's no way to lift up the watch and look at it physically like you'd see in Dead Rising, but you can still occasionally glance at your wrist in the corner and catch the time. Another fact is early on you may come across high-level zones like the mental asylum. These, well, really push you to your limits and give you a nice challenge if that's your thing. And no, I didn't get inside of the mental asylum, but I sure tried and failed. These high-level zones are where you could find more random demolishers, spitters, bombers, and generally more zombies out in the open world. There's just more bigger groups. A lot of the time when you're casually exploring, you won't find many groups or hordes of zombies, but these spots are where you could find them. Another little thing I noticed is you could kick around random limbs you chopped off. Like in this clip, he chops that limb off and kicks it almost through the window. I am really glad they made kick its own button again instead of having to block to kick like in the second game. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but it's now back so we can get moments like this. While destructible rooftops aren't back, from what I saw, there are destructible doors and boxes and generally a lot of little things that you can just knock over, especially with the truck. And there are a lot of smaller trees, gates, things like that you could just drive right through. Alright, moving on, I'm not sure if the clothing you wear carries into the main menu like in past games, but it does carry into cutscenes. And depending on what you're wearing, the items will slightly change. Like for example, I had this red hood up in photo mode and the menu, but in cutscenes, he's automatically wearing it down. I didn't find a lot of clothing to test this much beyond this, but I found it interesting. Next up, little items you loot in places like stores matter much more compared to Dying Light 2, allowing you to put things like water bottles and snack bars into your inventory to consume on the go. I straight up relied on those snack bars more than I did the actual bandages. I'd say we're one step closer to getting a full-on survival mode though, where you need to consume food and water to survive, your weapons break incredibly quick, a couple hits and you're dead. I know a lot of people want it, and I know Techland knows that. So, dialogue options from Dying Light 2 are back, sort of. They're taking a different route this time. They aren't game-changing choices like before, but opportunities to learn a little bit more lore. More in the vein of a random Fallout 4 conversation, where they're much more in that third-person perspective, which is pretty new for the Dying Light games, which were always known to be in first-person all the time, until now, and I'm actually quite happy about it, but let me know what you think. A lot of things from the original Dying Light make a return, like some of Kyle's finisher moves, or even the classic viral sounds, which really do go a long way. As the story progresses, small things are added around your room, like the chimera you kill on this map. Also, here's just a good look at the map for those that want to see it. There you go. Moving on, when you first load up the game, there's no one in the main menu, just a dark set of stairs. But once you make some progress in the story and return to the menu, you can see now Kyle sitting around, glancing occasionally at the screen, thinking of his life decisions. So there are finisher abilities and beast mode for not only normal zombies, but even the volatiles and also the chimera you fight in the story. The chimera finishers go on for 10 to 20 seconds, truly showing how far Kyle can go. It can get pretty crazy. I asked this back at Summer Game Fest if volatiles can climb on the truck like you see with virals, and I was told yes. However, I haven't seen gameplay of it yet and even tried to make it happen while I had the chance. So it's confirmed. It might just be really difficult to make happen, or it was disabled during the preview event for some reason. We talked about this a while back, but yes, Kyle's wearing Jade's necklace as a bracelet, which is kind of odd considering he never grabbed it back in the museum, or at least they never made it clear that he did, but regardless, it's a nice little nod. When Kyle goes into beast mode, his arms become veiny, and I initially thought his shirt is ripped as well. I was like, oh shit, look at that attention to detail. But it's just his arms clipping through his sleeves, but it doesn't look bad, I'll say that. But once you notice it, it's kinda hard not to. Now this little fact I'm not 100% certain by, but I believe you can use your truck as a landing pad, like you could for any other car in the past games. I didn't come across any major Easter eggs besides this one, which says don't open dead inside, which is a throwback to The Walking Dead. I don't mind sillier Easter eggs, but I can appreciate when they blend it into the environment, like in this case. Just like the following DLC from the first game, you can come across different volatile hives scattered around the outskirts and caves. One of these you'll get to explore during a side quest, and it's huge, with every tunnel feeling a little different. None of it felt the same or boring to explore. So, I heard the dynamic soundtrack from the second game is back, but it never really felt like it was, or it was just a lot more subtle. The music isn't bombastic or epic, it's much calmer, being sometimes just the pluck of a few guitar strings. It's more like the first game, where you randomly hear a little beat in the background of the wind while you're doing your thing. I think people will miss the parkour hero feel of the second game, but I do think this better fits the vibe. But with that said, those are all the random facts we're talking about today until I think of a list of more. If you enjoyed or learned something new, then feel free to like the video, subscribe, and stop by next time everyone, and adios.